My closest friend smirked. Your girl's after me. Step aside. I answered, she's all yours. Then I handed her his messages, plotting behind her back. Half an hour later, his number lit up my phone, begging me to calm her down after she blasted him in our group chat and filed charges. I'm 28, male, or at least I was the kind of guy who thought loyalty was sacred. 15 years of friendship with Henry, also 28, felt like a vault of shared trust, history, and laughter. We weren't just friends. We were brothers in every sense that counted. Which is why, when he sat across from me in my living room last Tuesday, swirling the bottom of a craft beer, his words didn't just hurt. They shattered the world I thought I knew. Listen, man, he started, leaning forward with that sly, conspiratorial grin he wears when he thinks he's doing you a favor. No easy way to say this. Maria wants me. She's been dropping signals for weeks. It's electric. Maria, 27. My Maria, the woman I was building a future with, who knew my struggles, loved my awful cooking, the one I was weeks away from proposing to. I just stayed, the air in the room collapsing into a sharp hum in my ears. First came a jolt of pure rage, the urge to leap across the table and erase that grin. Then a colder, nauseating confusion. He mistook my silence for weakness. I get it's hard, but from my side, the spark is insane. You and her, it's cozy. Sure, but this is fire. I think it's time you step aside. For her happiness. For her happiness, man. The arrogance was unreal. Every sarcastic jab, every smug one-up, every time his hand lingered a beat too long on her back replayed now in a sickening new light. Anger still surged, but a strange icy calm rose to the surface. A shield. I decided then I wouldn't give him the fight he wanted. All right, I said evenly. Henry blinked, thrown off. All right, that's it. Yeah, I replied, locking eyes. If she wants you, she wants you. Can't stop fire. She's yours. He actually looked disappointed. A hunter denied his chase. Cool. That's really mature, man. He puffed out his chest, rising. Knew you'd get it. I do, I said, walking him out. When the door clicked shut, I didn't smash anything. I just leaned back, my legs weak, cam dissolving into raw betrayal. After a moment, I grabbed my phone, hands trembling. Me. Hey, you free? Something happened. Need to talk face to face. Huh, on my way. Are you okay? You're scaring me. Me, not sure. Just come. She arrived 20 minutes later, worry etched on her face. Erin, what is it? She asked. I repeated Henry's words, flat and verbatim. Her face flickered through disbelief, confusion, then anger. He said what? She demanded. That I want him? That's insane. Why would he? Then a shadow of doubt crossed her eyes. What's happening here? Erin, is this some fight between you two and I'm stuck in the middle? And there it was. She didn't know who to trust. Henry, my brother of 15 years, versus me. He told me, she whispered, that he was worried about you. Said you've been distant. He's been checking in on me, trying to be a good friend to both of us. The poison was already in place. Maria, he's been setting us up, I begged. He's lying. Then prove it, she said, tears rising. Because right now my boyfriend is calling my best friend a monster, and I don't know who to believe. My chest sank. Then memory hit. A sickening one, burned into my mind from a year ago. I dug through my chats with Henry, scrolling like a madman through memes and plans until, there, a screenshot, a cropped private photo of a woman from college, sent by Henry. His text, bro, look at this. She's desperate. Thinks she can buy my help for her startup. LMAO. My reply then, this is disgusting. Delete it. I'd saved it, thinking it crossed a line. Never thought I'd need it like this. I handed Maria my phone. Her face paled, then hardened. She scrolled, seeing my horrified response and his smug dismissal. This wasn't my word, it was his, in writing. The lies collapsed. He told me, she whispered, that you were the one objectifying women, that he was trying to wake you up. He used this to paint you as a bad one. The depth of his betrayal was finally clear. He hadn't just lied. He flipped reality. Maria looked up, her tears gone, replaced by cold fire. "So, he thinks I want him, and you told him I'm all his?" she asked. "I did," I admitted, and then her lips curled into a slow, dangerous smile. "All right then, let's give him what he thinks he wants." Maria lifted her phone, opened our main group chat, 30 people deep, and began typing. She dropped the screenshot I'd just shown her, followed by a caption. "Maria, hey everyone, just to clear things up. Henry told Aaron I want him, and that Aaron should step aside. So let me make my decision public. Henry, you're right. I pick you. I pick the guy who leaks women's private photos behind their backs to feel important. See attached. I pick the man who's been sabotaging my relationship for months, projecting his own filth onto Aaron to try and divide us. Congratulations, Henry. I'm all yours. Oh, and tomorrow I'll be filing a police report for harassment. Can't wait to feel that fire connection." She pressed send. Silence swallowed the room. 30 seconds crawled by. Then my phone lit up and buzzed on the coffee table. Henry calling. I declined. It rang again. Ignored. A text came through. "Henry, call me now." What did you do? Make her stop. Maria glanced at the desperate notifications. "He started this," she said flatly. I nodded. "I know." The phone kept rattling, like a dying wasp, while we simply watched. Update 1. The past week has been a bizarre mix of upheaval and grim calm. Thank you to everyone who's reached out. It helps knowing we're not insane. The group chat was a bomb. It didn't unite people against Henry. It split everything apart. Fallout everywhere. For every friend who backed Maria, another scolded her for going public. Friend A, "Whoa, Maria, this is too much. Posting this is extreme." Friend B, "There are two sides to every story. Henry's a good dude. This feels unfair." Friend C, "Can't we handle this privately? My phone won't stop blowing up. This is just drama." The woman from the screenshot actually joined in, thanking Maria and confirming Henry was a creep. That convinced some, but others already bailed, wanting out of the chaos. We lost people, friends of years either siding with Henry or ghosting us. It's isolating. Henry's calls and texts didn't stop for 2 days. They were textbook manipulation. Never once an apology. Always, "Look what you're doing to me." Or, "You're destroying my life over nothing." Or the classic, "After 15 years, you owe me silence." He believes our history is a free pass for anything. By Wednesday, we were in the courthouse filing for a restraining order. It was exhausting and humiliating. Hours under buzzing fluorescent lights, filling out forms, attaching screenshots, reliving everything. We got a temporary order, TTO, with a hearing scheduled in 3 weeks to decide if it sticks. It didn't feel like victory, more like grim necessity. Turns out, the entitlement runs in the family. Henry's mother rang me Thursday. "I don't know what kind of twisted game you and that tramp are playing," she shrieked, "but you're ruining my son. He's been put on leave from work while they investigate, all because of your lies." That detail hit me. Administrative leave. Not fired. Just dangling, and they were panicking. "Is a good boy," she went on. "He told me everything. He was checking on your girlfriend after the fight, and she twisted it. You need to make her drop this nonsense and post an apology for slandering him." I stayed quiet until she ran out of breath. I said, voice flat, "Henry's choices are his own. Everything we've said is documented and true. This conversation is over." I ended the call before she could reply. Maria and I retained a lawyer. Her name's Ms. Joyce. Professional. Sharp. No theatrics. She laid out reality. This would be long, draining, and expensive. "The harassment case is strong," she said, "but expect a fight. We're ready. This isn't about a clean win. It's about weathering the storm to the end." Update 3. Justice crawls, and it grinds you down. The TTRO hearing, 3 weeks later, was every bit as dreadful as expected. Henry showed with his parents and counsel. He looked gaunt, bitter. His attorney tried spinning Maria as unstable, obsessed, and me as manipulative. They painted their friendship as some unrequited crush. But we had the receipts, texts, screenshots, his barrage of panic messages. The judge wasn't buying their story. We won a 1-year civil harassment restraining order. A small but crucial victory. In the courthouse lot afterward, Henry's father approached me. He didn't shout like his wife. His weapon was calm menace. "Aaron," he said smoothly, "this has gone too far. Think about your future. You've got a good career, a reputation, a court case, accusations, people talk. It'd be tragic if your professional life collapsed over a petty drama." It was a threat wrapped in silk. Rumors, retaliation, career sabotage. I stared at him. "Are you trying to intimidate a witness, Mr. Davies?" I asked quietly, because my lawyer is standing right over there, and I'm sure she'd love to hear this conversation. He paled, civility slipping like a mask. Without another word, he turned and walked away. The smear attempts didn't stop, but they lost traction. The ruling in court gave weight to our side. Still, the cost was brutal. Legal bills stacked up. The emotional exhaustion was crushing. Isolation grew heavier. We cut off over a dozen old friends. Every interaction feels tense, wondering who's heard what, who's chosen a side. This is what justice really looks like. Not a triumphant climax, just a slow war of attrition. Final update. It's been months since I last posted. The time since has been a long, anxious crawl toward an ending. The criminal charges for harassment and the unlawful sharing of intimate images moved forward alongside the restraining order. As the hearing drew close, Henry sank to a new, vile low. He must have realized his legal chances were gone, so he turned to psychological warfare. Maria began receiving Instagram DMs from burner accounts. They were cruel names, slurs, venom. Then one hit like a knife. It mentioned her most private medical struggle from the year before, something only her mother, me, and Henry had ever known. He had weaponized her pain, her trust, as a last-ditch threat to make her drop the case. It was the act of a predator, the final confirmation that the man we once knew no longer existed. But instead of breaking her, it hardened her. That cruelty became his fatal mistake. Armed with this evidence of intimidation, our lawyer went to the DA. The prosecutor told Henry's attorney that if it went to trial, they would pursue the maximum sentence, including jail time. A week later, a plea deal arrived. Henry would admit guilt to misdemeanor harassment and unlawful distribution. The terms, which the DA drafted with our input, were heavy: 2 years probation, a steep fine, mandatory bachelor's intervention classes for a year, and a 10-year restraining order. We agreed. A trial would have been brutal. A guilty plea was still a conviction, carved into his record. Court that day was gray and subdued. Henry stood before the judge, a shadow of himself. He read his guilty plea from a sheet of paper, monotone, drained. There was no remorse, just a man out of options. His mother sobbed quietly in the gallery. His father stared straight ahead. I felt nothing for either of them. Life since then has been still. Finally, the 10-year order is a shield we can breathe behind. I heard he eventually lost his job, now scraping by in logistics, living at home. Our old social circle has dissolved into silence. But we've built a new one, smaller but real. Last month, Maria and I got engaged on a quiet beach, just the two of us. The future feels ours again. Then, last week, a letter came. No return address, but I knew the handwriting instantly. Henry. It was a rambling, self-pitying stream about our brotherhood and his one mistake. It ended with, "Can you ever forgive me?" For a moment, the old rage surged. I gripped the envelope, tempted to burn it and erase him. But then I stopped. That would have been impulsive, emotional, and I'm done giving him that. The old me would have set it on fire. The new me, the one who's learned to document, to stay steady, recognized it for what it was. Evidence. I showed Maria. We read it together. This pitiful plea disguised as remorse. "Are you going to hand it to the police?" she asked. I thought about it. I could. It would violate his probation. But what would that do? It would drag him back into our lives again. No, I decided. I opened the fireproof safe where we keep our important papers. I slipped the letter inside, beside the restraining order and every other record we saved. I'm not forgiving him. Forgiveness is for those who feel real remorse, not regret for being caught. But I'm not chasing him either. I'm just prepared. The best revenge isn't a dramatic explosion. It's the cold assurance of knowing you're safe. You've won, and the power sits quietly in your hands. His letter now rests in the dock, useless, a final, empty monument to who he is, while we live freely out here in the light.